All aboard!
Welcome back to the places where we go. Today, we're taking you on a nostalgic adventure as we go back in time to visit one of Simi Valley's best-kept secrets, the Santa Susana Railroad Depot and Museum. It's a fun destination for train enthusiasts, history buffs, and families. Come along with us on this visit. This charming museum, located on the eastern edge of Simi Valley, California, holds a special place in the community. It celebrates America's rich railway history, preserving memories of a time when locomotives ruled the transportation world. The museum is easy to find and has hassle-free parking, making it a great stop in the area. From historic photos to a remarkable collection of train memorabilia, this museum is a true goldmine for anyone fascinated by railroads.
We visited during a special anniversary event held at the depot and are a little late in getting this visit published to you, but better late than never. Upon our arrival, an antique auto show was in the parking lot. There were so many cool cars, and this little trailer caught our eye. Yes, we could envision a camping adventure in this silver shadow. We learned a thing or two at a talk about the history of railroads in California.
Now at Bakersfield, to avoid the Tejon Pass, the railroad turned their tracks toward the desert communities via the Tehachapi Pass of Mojave, Lancaster, and Palmdale.
Fashions from the golden age of railroads were on display. Here's some dapper-looking folk.
What can you expect when visiting? The depot is open to the public every Saturday and Sunday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., except on national holidays. Admission is free, but donations are appreciated and helpful.
When you visit, you can take a guided tour where friendly and knowledgeable staff bring the stories of the exhibits to life. Alternatively, you can view exhibits during a self-guided exploration. The museum has historic photos and informative displays, and you'll find plenty of artifacts that offer an immersive look into the golden age of rail travel. And if you plan to visit with family, watch for special activities and events throughout the year. Trust us, little ones will have a blast.
This location is home to the Santa Susana Pacific Model Railroad Society. This group is based inside a Southern Pacific Class 22 depot initially built in 1903. If you enjoy model trains, the Santa Susana Pacific Model Railroad is a must-see for train enthusiasts and model railroaders. Spanning over 530 feet of mainline track, this impressive layout features 6 sidings that can accommodate trains as long as 20 to 40 cars. With challenging 2% grades, it's a true testament to the skill and precision of scale model railroading. We enjoyed watching the enormous model train exhibit with miniature trains running through a replica of historic Simi Valley.
Here's a nostalgic glimpse of Corriganville. It was once a popular Western movie and television studio ranch in Simi Valley, known for its iconic Western town and various outdoor filming locations. Today, the land near this depot is a public park, and remnants of the old sets are still visible. And that looks like the original St. Rose of Lima Church in Simi Valley.
we take some dramatic license with stuff. Like, we had to fit all of California in here.
Okay.
So we don't have every single thing. Some stuff is like what would be in the region. So over there is Simi Valley. Right here is Camarillo.
Oh, okay.
And then the actual train tracks don't really turn like this and do a 180, but this 180 runs up towards San Luis Obispo, which is over there in the corner.
Oh, I see.
We didn't put San Luis Obispo because it'd be way too much to try and fit that in.
Model railroading is a fun hobby enjoyed by over 500,000 model railroaders in the United States alone. The hobby has been around for over a century and attracts new enthusiasts yearly. Some of you may have had Lionel train sets in your youth. Our grandkids love playing with their Thomas the Train railroad set at our house. You'll even find hobbyists among the rich and famous, including Tom Hanks and Sir Rod Stewart. Yes, the rock star.
Stepping inside the depot, the curators have assembled a fantastic collection of old photographs and artifacts. The station office looks like it would have nearly 100 years ago. It's all memories of a bygone era.
So when my mom lived in Beaumont, California, she lived in a little shack with her family, one room, and the only warmth that they had was a wood-burning stove that also acted as for cooking and for heating. So they'd throw the wood in. My mom remembers picking up the handle, throwing wood in, and then they would put stuff on top for cooking, keeping warm. This is for cold, so this specifically is for heating.
So when this station was originally built in the early 1900s, it immediately became the communications hub for the valley. And I see somebody has fired off our teletype machine there. That's awesome. That's one of the ways that we communicated. The train would pick up mail. Mail would be in bags like so. They would be hung on a order board outside and be grabbed without the train actually stopping. Right? They would just come flying by, grab that mail.
A highlight of our day was viewing the historic living quarters of the station's caretaker.
I think the first thing you're going to recognize is the I Love Lucy bedroom setup, right? Very popular in those days, as were chenille bed covers. And they're very collectible today, I might add. Afghans were everywhere. Aunt, grandma, somebody was always knitting or crocheting. This is a very popular pattern called granny squares. Laura Sims, been talking about her. Worked here, lived here. That's her last photograph over there. Now in that photograph, notice her own telegraph key. Every agent had their own telegraph key. They were fine-tuned to their own touch. So when she went downstairs and replaced the agent on duty, they would have just switched their telegraph keys. When the depot was moved over here, the Park District wanted a caretaker to move in to oversee safety and security, which we all understand. Didn't need 2 bedrooms, so we created this arch. Gave him a nice living space. So we turned this into a dining experience. Now, I refer to them as the glory years. Why? In the late 30s, 40s, 50s, 75% of the people that traveled in our continent went by train. And when you stepped into that dining room and sat down, you ate off of the railroad's finest themed china. Every railroad had a different theme, and we have 3 examples. If you're up in the Pacific Northwest on the Great Northern Railroad, you would have sat down and eaten off this beautiful pattern, the glory of the West. Santa Fe had a couple of designs. Who knows our state flower?
Puppy.
There's their design. They service the Southwest. They have their Aztec design. And if you were here on the Southern Pacific coastline, you ate off of the Prairie Mountain wildflower design. This was a competitive business. You had choices. They paid attention to detail.
The Santa Susana Depot, rich in history, found its home in May 1975 at 6503 Catherine Road in Simi Valley. Located along milepost 420.8 of the Southern Pacific coastline, known as the Metrolink Ventura subdivision. The museum is just a short drive from Los Angeles.
We just came from visiting the Simi Valley Railroad Museum. It's been here for a long time. I've never been, so my first time here.
For me, since they've moved it.
Yeah. So the history of this place goes back 120 years, because the day that we're here happens to be the 120th anniversary celebration.
Mm-hmm. They did a fantastic job of presenting the history of the railroad and all kinds of artifacts from the railroad. It was great.
Yeah, so we had started with a talk about the history. Next door, they had a model railroad in this big room. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And that was done to kind of replicate Simi Valley, Camarillo, up to San Luis Obispo. So it had the local geography embedded in it.
Yeah. And there's much, much more that we didn't see that even went into the LA history of it. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then got a tour of the inside of the depot where the caretakers used to live. So that was kind of neat. So a little bit of slice of railroad history in Simi Valley, California.
The Simi Valley Train Museum is a great experience and a hidden gem in our city. It's a place where history comes alive and visitors leave with a deeper appreciation for the railroads that helped shape our country. If you find yourself near Simi Valley, bring your family to learn about railroad history in the Western United States. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more travel discoveries from the places where we go.